morning, I would say ladies and gentlemen. Good to know. Welcome once again to the Aspire Academy Global Summit. My name is Reshmin Chowdhury. I'm a journalist and broadcaster, and I'll be taking you through the Morning Star Chats today. We have a very special guest who is waiting to come to the stage, but before he arrives, I believe we have a short video that you can watch. No introduction needed then. Please welcome to the stage, André Villas-Boas. So, André, you've been in Russia for a little while, back in Europe. How does it feel to be closer to home?
Well, it feels very, very good. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody, and I'm very grateful for Aspire for the invitation. It's been a while since they invited me to the Aspire Summit. I haven't been able to be here to join you. This is the first time, but I'm very grateful for Aspire. It's been good. I have took the decision to go back home for my family because they weren't in Russia with me for 2 years and a half, and so now I'm taking a break from football. And probably this event is my first thing, let's say, back into the game, because I've been doing everything apart from looking at football. So it's good to be back. It's good to feel the emotions of the game, to understand the new trends and what we are discussing, and I hope that this talk can be useful for at least in some things for any of you.
Yeah, because this is quite a gentle introduction, let's say, back into football. And speaking of the Aspire Academies, you've been to Doha on several occasions, haven't you? What have you made of the progress and the new technologies, the new methodologies that has been developed out there?
Well, this is the thing. I've been listening to all of you. I think there is two different perspectives, two different situations here. There is professional football, and there is the formation of the young players. There was one time, I think 5 or 6 years ago, where you thought that every youth team should behave like the first team, the ideas of the first team coach. And fortunately for the development of youth football players, this has finished, because it was not the solution. Why? Because the coaches now, they can last a maximum of 2 years in a club, or 3 years. Okay, there are always the exceptions, but we are looking at a maximum of 3-year span in a club. And in the formation of young players, you could not be subject to these changes that were happening in the top. So we see that, for example, in Bayern, you go from Pep Guardiola to Ancelotti. With me, for example, Chelsea went from Ancelotti to myself. Manchester City from Pellegrini to Guardiola. So you can see that the clubs they don't know what they are looking for in terms of a coach, in terms of a methodology. They go from opposite to opposite. So it is good that in the formation of the young player, we have gone in a different direction, which is to give the freedom for the club to organize itself in the formation of the young player. The problem is, I think, is that apart from the exceptions, and I'm going to just name a few, but of course there are great projects in youth football. But I'm going to name this, and I apologize if I don't name any more. Apart from, let's say, Bilbao, Ajax, and Barcelona, where there is a clear vision of what you want to achieve in terms of youth football, the clubs at the top, they don't know what is their vision. And some academies don't have a vision for their club. And this is the problem, and I think it has a direct impact and direct influence on everything else, because only when you have a vision, only when you know which way you are going, which way you want to play, you are able to give direction to all of the rest of the other things, which is the communication, the individual communication, the group communication, the way you handle the players, what you request from the players. And in my opinion, this is the actual problem of football in this moment, is that, you know, even the people at the top are changing. You know, the Chinese are buying Italian clubs, the Americans are buying English clubs or Italian clubs. So the top is changing permanently, and there is no stability. So this is one thing that is extremely good for Aspire, which was, in some way, there has been a vision, which was a long-term vision of 20 years, that has been there set up for 2022. And I hope that following on from that, of course, and a mix of so many different people, and to make these people articulate in a way, it's only possible when you have a vision. Because all of us, you know, we share different ideas of how you develop youth football players. There are, you know, because of different cultures, there are people who are more aggressive in preparation in the technical side, others in the tactical side, others in the physical side. And I think the main difference, the main key here is that if there is no vision, nobody can influence any young player or any player. And you know, I've been in touch with Aspire a lot, and I know the project has been there for quite some time, and I appreciate and I value that with so many different people coming from so many different backgrounds, they were always able to strive in the one direction, which is to form the teams preparing for the future of Qatar football, and in other sports. So this is the thing. You have to have a vision, and you cannot expect that the people that lead you. For example, there are a lot of academy directors here, people responsible for the youth development of all the young players in their academy. If they don't have the direction from the top, these people who make important decisions, they don't know where they're going. And the problem is that the people from the top, they don't know what is better for the young player. Yeah. And they don't give you the freedom to install this vision. So it's a very sensible situation that is happening at the moment. There needs to be continuity, there needs to be a 5-6 year span for players to develop, and there needs to be a clear vision to give information to all the coaches in the youth levels that are part of that academy.
Because how does that translate? Because when you see the pressure young players are under in the top divisions, for example, at your former club Chelsea, there are about 40 youth players who are out on loan at the moment. Their chances of getting into that first team are not non-existent, but they're very few and far between. How do you translate the vision that you see in Qatar to, for example, in the Premier League or the Bundesliga or somewhere where, you know, the young players actually get that opportunity, and how much pressure is there on them?
Well, I'm not a particularly great example of a coach that has nurtured a lot of young players, just because my career has been a 7-year career in 5 different clubs. So I cannot answer that question on that side. But for example, I can give you my experience in all of the clubs that I have passed. The academy director is no longer there. In Zenit, not because he was sacked, but because either he has changed to another position, or he went on to do another thing, or he was sacked. Because it's very normal.
That happens
a lot. Normal in football. So in Zenit, the guy that was there with me is no longer there. In Porto, the guy that was their youth director, he is no longer there. There is another person, a great friend of mine, that is present here today. And Chelsea is the same, Tottenham is the same, and Academica is the same. So in my 7-year career, in these 5 clubs, the academy director, the person responsible for the youth development of players, is no longer there. So of course, if the vision for the club is there, perfect, because everybody knows independently on who leads the project, the vision is there, and you keep on going. So this is why I was speaking about the vision. It's difficult for me. My philosophy towards the young players, I know that they have to be given the chance. My philosophy is a little bit different. And I tell you this, and of course, for the people that are standing here, maybe this is a little bit controversial. I prefer to give the chance for the young player when I feel that the young player is better and doing better than the players that I have in my training sessions, during my training sessions. If they are not able to beat the player on that position that they want to be, I don't put them. I don't give them the chance. I can throw them during a game where I am comfortable. You can say that this is a little bit cowardly, maybe. I agree. But this is my view. A young player should be given a chance when he deserves the chance, when he is better, when he has become better than the player on that position.
But how does that chance come about when the opportunities are so few to play at that high level?
With training, with belief. But because, in our world, everything must happen right now. And you probably go out of here, and all of us, when we lift up and we go inside that room, everybody's going into their phones and they want the now. What is happening to my family? What is happening in the world of football? What is happening in the news? What is happening in my club? How did the training sessions go? And so the young player is at this stage. They want everything quick and everything so fast. I am not the greatest example of a coach that has nurtured players, and I have even. On a funny story, I had even one day an interview with a president of a club that we want you. Please come join us. We'll make an interview and you can come to our club. We really like your methodology. He didn't know anything about my methodology. We really like your methodology. This is the way that we want to go to move forward. And I asked this guy, but do you know what I represent? Do you know what I mean as a coach? You are asking me to promote young players. I've never been in a club more than, now in Zenit 2 years and a half. But I have never been I've jumped from club to club. This has been my career. And so, it's the players, the young players, they want everything so fast, and you have to, in my opinion, again, I'm not the expert, but I think you have to give them this chance when it's truly there. Because when it's truly there, when they deserve, they are able to stay longer in that position. But in conversation, for example, with Ronald Moore yesterday, and I think he mentioned this situation regarding what is happening in Man United, regarding Lingard and Rashford, just to give the example. Would they be first team 11 players right now if they weren't given the chance with Van Gaal before? Did Van Gaal in some way pay the price of giving these people too many chances because he lost his job? So it's very difficult. Now, from Van Gaal you go to Mourinho, and Man United expect results, and they expect.
And a lot of people thought Van Gaal was quite lucky to have discovered Rashford at the time that he actually needed him. He wasn't his first choice either.
It's very difficult, It's a balance of. It's not that if you promote young players, you're not going to have success. No, it's wrong. But I think that the chance should be given when the player is really ready. I think sometimes you call them too much too soon into the national team. You put too much expectations, too much pressure, and then there is so many negative things that happen if the player underperforms. That I think is a burden that the young player cannot take. So this is why I prefer a little bit more time when I give the chance for young players.
Okay, well, speaking of being young, you started your career very early. Do you think the same may have happened to you, that there were a lot of expectations on you very early as well?
No, I don't know. I didn't feel like that. I certainly believe right now, after 7 years, that probably the Chelsea experience was too much too soon, in my opinion. There were a lot of things that you have to have the ability to be flexible, to change. I wasn't flexible at that time. I was a non-flexible person. I was communicative with everybody, but I was not flexible in my principles. This is the way I want. I will try till the end with this way. And after in Tottenham, I learned to be completely different. And I've spoken with my staff. This happened one day in Tottenham. We were speaking with each other. In professional football, you have to live the daily basis. The day-to-day is everything. The day-to-day, which every single individual. The objective is the group and the group performance, but every single day the individual requires a different type of response and a different type of person from you. You cannot be the same person to every single player. You have to be a different person to your single individuals. And in Chelsea, I wasn't like this. The group was more important than anything else. For me, this is my way. This is the way we behave. We stick to these values as a team, as a group, in my philosophy. And now I learned to be a little bit more flexible. Or if you don't learn to be flexible in a certain degree, you end up making a lot of mistakes.
And was it harder because you were so young, and actually you were a similar age to some of the senior players in the club, for example, the John Terrys, or we don't need to name them by name, but some of perhaps was that a dynamic that was difficult to work with?
No, I don't think age has nothing to do with it. I think it's a question of competence. The player requires from you that he is learning. He wants to know that whatever you are giving him, that is having an impact on his development. And this is what he wants. And he is able to distinguish competence. After he distinguishes competence, you will be more competent if you win. If you don't win, you are becoming, your competency is going down. It's being downgraded steadily. It's like a Moody's rating. So this is the key. We have to understand that whenever defeat happens, people do like this. And when they do like this, they take out responsibility. It's not my fault that I missed the goal because the pass that you gave me wasn't in my right direction. If the pass that came in my direction is bad, it's because of the coach, and and all leads into one direction. This is normal because in football everybody wants to feel that they learn, but they want to win also. In competitive teams, they want to win. But I think the player is very smart in recognizing when you give competence, when they are learning from you, and I don't think age has anything to do with that.
Well, you worked with some fantastic under some fantastic managers, Jose Mourinho, but of course Sir Bobby Robson as well. What did you learn from, first of all, from Sir Bobby, because that was it was a chance encounter, wasn't it? That you bumped into him, is that right? Or
yes,
did you make it happen?
No, it was no, because I was only 17 when I met Sir Bob. Well, I knew, of course, his past, but I was only 17, and I was just a young kid being stupid. To ask the Porto coach why he wasn't playing this and that was pure stupid. But in that stupidity, it led on to my career. The thing is, we all have our philosophies, and we are all very different coaches. And the reality in the football clubs, in the professional clubs, is that you expect the coaches to bring wins more than a certain style of play. And I think this is visible as we were speaking before, and not being negative to a more experienced coach or a younger coach, but you see things that are extraordinary. They are so different. Again, from Tito Villanova to Tata Martino, from Tata Martino to Luis Enrique. This is, when you think about it, this is absurdity in terms of method and in terms of dealing with players, and it's the complete opposite. What clubs are looking is for winning immediately, and coaches have less time, and it's good that the formative part of the clubs is getting ever more separated from professional football. If there are here CEOs and executive directors from clubs, I'm not an expert, but this is my suggestion. The further away that the formation part is from the first team, the better, because the people at the top, they are also under pressure to make decisions, and they take their decisions based on winning without knowing who they are putting in place, without knowing the full essence of the person that they are putting in place.
So you're saying it's better to keep the youth team separate from the first team? Is that what you're saying?
The youth philosophy.
The youth philosophy
The youth
is developing
philosophy in a club responds to a culture from a country,
okay.
and it should be separated totally from who is leading, the coach who is leading, and its philosophy in the first team.
But how do you have a philosophy that runs throughout the club then? How do you build for the future if you don't have...
In the youth, it should run. In the first team, it should be out, because the first team coach is permanently changing, and it goes from opposite philosophies during 1 year or 2 year spans, so that the youth formation of a young player should be miles away from the first team, what is happening in the first team.
But then how do those players come through? And how, if there's a different manager at the top who has a different philosophy, then how do you develop the young players to...
They come through they come through within the culture of the club. For example, and the culture of the country. For example, what is the culture of Spanish football? Technical excellence, creativity, possession game. So this three, let's say, three key factors in between so many, is the essence of Spanish football. What is the philosophy of Barcelona? Is their comprehension in the game, their comprehension towards having the ball, having the initiative, having more time the ball than the opponent, enjoying the game. So this philosophy should be there for it represents the culture of the country, but should be, in my opinion, miles away from the coach that sits there in the top.
Well, something we've seen in recent years, it's almost like the rise of the super coach. You see somebody like Pep Guardiola, who's arguably changed the face of modern European football. What do you make of his style and that philosophy? Because there was a while where it looked as though there was no way you could beat the tiki-taka. There was no way you could beat that beautiful Barcelona team from 2008 to about 2011. But Diego Simeone found a way. And these are very, very different football philosophies. How do you compare those philosophies?
They're not comparable. We start by saying that, first of all, I think Guardiola, you have to remove him out of the question, because he's in another planet, in my opinion. We have Messi and we have Guardiola. In my opinion, we are. They live in another world, and we live in the mundane world. Because it's not. It's incredible to see with how much in such a short time span he is able to put into practice his philosophy in so many different cultures. And with great effectiveness. So this is incredible. The two philosophies that you spoke about are completely the opposite. One is having the ball, the other is not having the ball. Don't mean that certain of us like more one way or the other way. The most important thing is that the players that are coached by Simeone believe in what he is transmitting, and the coaches and the players that are coached by Guardiola believe in what they are transmitting. They are not comparable, in my opinion. The only thing that they are comparable is in their leadership qualities, is in the way that these two people are able to transmit this idea with so much energy and so much power that the 25 players behave always in that way during such a big time. We don't know what is the correct way going forward. There are people here that like more one way than the other. There are others that are flexible from game to game strategy-wise. There are games that will propose you to have more the ball. There are games that will propose you not to have the ball and to give the ball away to the opponent and wait for the counterattacks. So there is not a correct way in professional football, because there is strategies. There are strategies because there is pressure. There is pressure on winning, on the coaches, on the CEOs, on the presidents. And what should, again, going back, what should differentiate all this is the vision of the youth development, of how you develop young players. I think you should, my idea on the development of young players is that the more technical things that they can learn, the better. up to 14, 15. I'm not an expert, but this is what I believe in. And from 15 onwards to give them the tactical input in another direction. I put a little bit away the physical because I believe that it's intimately related to the technical and the tactical that you are going to give. But I know that a couple of you feel differently about this, but this is the way I believe.
But do you feel that coaches can impress in certain clubs, that coaches are able to impress their ideas more than others? If you look at Pep Guardiola, of course, Diego Simeone, he runs Atletico, he is the king at Atletico. Mauricio Pochettino at your old club now, at Tottenham, he is very much in charge of the youth development and all of that. Do you think we're seeing maybe a change where some managers, strong managers, can impose their ideas?
No, I don't believe that you are right, because fortunately for Tottenham and for Mauricio, just because you mentioned, things are going well. It's been a great 2 years, 3 years with him. If things go wrong, Daniel Levy is an expert in sacking managers. So soon your time ends, and this is the thing in the Premier League. You don't have time for long-term projects. And the same would happen with anybody. Simeone has been very public in saying that after Atletico he would leave and he wants to try another league wherever he goes. And we have seen that in Bayern Munich you go from Pep Guardiola, from a certain style, from a certain methodology, into Ancelotti, which is a different style, a different methodology, a different way of leadership. So I don't think that whatever input people speak about that the first team coach has on the youth coach and is going to have on youthful players, I think it's not true.
So because of the short-termism of football, you think it's just impossible?
Yes.
How has your own philosophy changed since the days you spoke about being at Chelsea when you were very inflexible? Yeah. How has your own methodology, your own ideas, and your own philosophy changed since, in the last 7 years, say?
I think the basis and the foundations is still the same. Probably I have learned to not to concede the ball more to the opponent, but not to be so aggressive in what I was looking for in terms of possession game. This certainly I have changed. I have looked at the trend of football is to become a game that is even more and more transitional. Transitional in the sense of offensive transition, defensive transition, counterattacks, defending counterattacks, and doing counterattacks. And in some way, I have adapted. I have been less aggressive in terms of the way that I looked for my possession game, the control of my possession, and I have in some ways I have invited the teams more to come out to look for spaces. So this has been my flexibility, my way of adapting. Probably I have changed on that aspect, and maybe the English experience has made me change.
Is England somewhere you would consider going back to?
I don't know. This is something that I'm not thinking about. I like a lot what is happening in German football. I like the coaches there. A lot of young coaches coming through with some great ideas. For example, we saw, I don't know if you saw, but the recent game Borussia Mönchengladbach against Barcelona. We saw one team playing with 5-3-2 against Barcelona with their normal 4-3-3, but we saw the three central defenders playing 3 against Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. We have the Dortmund of Tuchel, which is very interesting in their look for depth, in their look for the spaces, in their pressing. Roger Schmidt, also in Leverkusen, very interesting coach in terms of the pressing, the aggressiveness of his pressing, the verticality of his game, the speed of his counterattacks, the way that these teams attack the space, a little bit like his Red Bull Salzburg used to do. So it's a championship that at the moment is bringing new things. It's exciting. It's not looked at like the Premier League, because in the end the Premier League has also become a £1 billion product. But this is where a lot of new tactical trends are happening, and I think it can be a good step for me. I don't know if it's going to happen, if I'm going to have the privilege or not to be there, but it's certainly a championship that I'm looking at.
Well, you recently put a picture on Instagram about how you're learning German. So is this the direction you would like to go in? And
No,
if so, where?
I don't know. I'm learning German because I had learned before, and I want
Are
to.
you sure?
I want to finish it. I want to finish it.
Okay, let's talk about. I want to ask you about Jose Mourinho, someone you worked with. What was it like to work under a man who perhaps is quite inflexible as well in his ideas, or would you? What was it like to be his deputy?
In my formative periods was the best moment of my life, because you are able to learn so many things. He exploits you. He takes you into another level. Again, I was speaking about this yesterday. You feel in love with you fall in love with him. He becomes like your idol. I think going back to yesterday's conversation, Bielsa was saying that how important it is to have an idol and a reference when you are going in your daily life, and Jose was my idol. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to know everything that he knew, and I wanted to absorb all the information that he was giving me. Then you fall on the wrong side of Jose, and then it's when things change, and then it's when you are able finally to understand that you have been blinded by somebody. You are not able to understand this whilst you are with him. He has this capability, this fascinating capability as a leader of getting the best out of you. You can have the consequences, or you cannot have the consequences, and everything has been a perfect life. What were my consequences? My consequences was that because of this argument or disagreement that we have, I started my coaching career. Somebody was speaking about, I think it was Juan Villa was speaking about, sharing the same values every day and being the same person every day with the players. I think a little bit differently regarding this. Unfortunately, in football, on your daily life, to deal with your players, you have to be able to have the courage to put a different mask in every single day regarding of the person who is standing in front of you. This is what is happening in football coaching right now, in my opinion. If you are not able to be flexible in what you defend and concede in some way certain things, it can be a little bit more difficult to go ahead with your success. So, sometimes I ask myself this question, what am I missing to win more games? What am I missing so that my philosophy wins more? Why don't I win more trophies? What do the others do that I'm not doing? And it leads you into interrogations that, what is, should I go more into this tactical aspect? Should I go more into this leadership aspect? Isn't the leadership and the daily life of running a football club and running your football players the most important thing? The human emotions, the human relationship, I think is the most important thing, the motivation. If you are able to have your player motivated at the top, for every single game, in a perfect tune relationship with you, you are able to get the most out of him in my professional football. At least in professional football, this is where I think. I would like to open, if possible.
Yeah, I have one more question to ask you before we open the
I was
floor,
trying to escape from your questions.
Too many questions. We were talking about going back to England. Is international management something that would appeal to you? And the England job is vacant. Is that something that would appeal to you in any way, shape or form?
No, just because the simple reason that I am not qualified enough to be the England manager. This is, the England position is a top position, and I don't have the CV to hold the position of that value. Neither, I would.
Many would argue that you have, with the experience that you've brought from different clubs, different countries.
Yeah, you could say that, but I don't feel that. You in the end, if you are not able to understand what is your position in world football, you can set out unrealistic targets. I have to be realistic. I know what I have done. I have been given chances at the top. Sometimes I have succeeded. Sometimes I have been unsuccessful. This is the way that the life of a football coach goes. But I know where to position myself. And
very humble.
It's not false modesty. It's the reality, and you as a journalist know perfectly well that this wouldn't happen. But this is I don't know. I don't know where I would like to keep in club football just because the daily life is a little bit more exciting. But it's possible that one day I will be given the chance.
Okay. Well, as André said, we would like to open the floor for any questions. No? Yeah. Oh, no need.
First of all, thank you. I would like to know what you do yourself to improve as a person, as a professional.
This was raised before in the conversation before, and I was thinking. Somebody asked here in the audience, who coaches the coach? Unfortunately for us, it's very difficult because let me give you a few examples. I had a very good. I had more very good presidents, but I had two people that touched me specifically. One was Pinto da Costa in Porto. The other one was Dukov in Zenit. Just because the fact that with them I was able to understand that my position was there and it was safe, not in danger. Independent. Okay, in Porto we lost only 5 games, but everything was exceptional. We were living in a moment, in a dream, and everything happened perfect. But in Zenit there were ups and downs, and the stability of the president when he faces you makes you understand that your position is safe, and this is very important because then you know that you can address your daily problems, the problems that you are facing in terms of defeats, in another way. If you know that by their response you are in the limit of losing your job, you are going to push the emergency button and you are going to act in doing things that probably you shouldn't, and you're going to make more mistakes. So this stability is very important, and another important aspect is, in my opinion, the most amount of people that I can take into the next club that I go, the better. It is impossible, in my opinion, that 2 or 3 members from the previous staff have stayed before. Not because they are not competent, maybe they are more competent than mine or than me, but just because the relationship of trust with the coach, with his staff, the secrets that they spread in between each other is very, very important. And in my opinion, the most amount of people you can take, if you have to take assistant coach, fitness coach, goalkeeper coach, scout, and in my opinion now physiotherapist or head of physiotherapy, is the ideal solution for a staff. I tell you why. Because the player spends more time with the medical department than he spends with you on the pitch. The physio spends more time with the player, actually, and with more conversations than you are with them in the pitch, because the pitch is the training is 90 minutes. Okay, you go there 1.5 hours before, the players arrive 30 minutes before the training, let's say. They make their training, 30 minutes after they are gone, or 10 minutes after they are gone, and you see them only the next day. And if you don't call them to your office, a couple of them can go into the physiotherapy room, or in the day before the game, they go into the physiotherapy room for the massage, and they are sharing information. They are sharing information about their family, their moment within the club, their disappointments, just because they have learned to trust the people that are there, massaging them probably in a way that they don't have that relationship with the coach, because the coach is always changing. So they don't create this kind of empathy. So this happened in Zenit. In Zenit, I took somebody that I worked in Tottenham in an outside basis. So he was in another club, and I used these services to treat a couple of my players. And I took this person in for Tottenham. And this is very important, because in the medical department, where the players share information, it's important to have your eyes and ears as well. Not only your eyes and ears, but in the way that this person understands how you train, how you request the effort from your players, how the quickness that you should have your players back. So the bigger the staff, the better, and that's why who coaches the coach, or who gives feedback to the coach? Your people of trust. A coach, unfortunately, is a lonely figure, and he can only trust his people of trust, the people that surround them. Going back to that, I had these people that gave me the confidence, these two great presidents that gave me the confidence for me to impact on my players on my daily basis with confidence. And you have your people of trust, the people that are side by side, which are able to tell you, listen, what you did today is completely wrong, or what you did today is right. Don't worry about.
I think we're going to have to end with the questions there. André, it's been so lovely to hear from you and hear your ideas and how your life is changing now. I wish you all the best. I hope
Thank you.
Something comes up maybe in Germany.
No, not so quick, because I still want to enjoy a little bit more time with family.
Well, I hope you're enjoying your time with your family.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.